Hello everyone. I wish we can have a lady Prime Minister. I am tired and really disappointed with the underperforming subprime Prime Ministers that we've had over the last few decades. The last few Prime Ministers we've had were especially inept, irresponsible, morally wanting, selfish, dishonest, without integrity, and even criminally inclined. One has even been convicted. Their policies haven't been the best we could have had. The present Prime Minister appears to have no legitimate mandate at all to be Prime Minister, and he appears fearful to test his legitimacy in Parliament. He has caused Parliament to be suspended, and he has declared a state of emergency, ostensibly to tackle the COVID menace more effectively, but in reality, it appears to be a desperate means to immorally hang on to his shaky Prime Minister's seat. COVID seems to still be out of control. Our infection rate is still amongst the world's highest. Our vaccination program to achieve herd immunity is awfully slow. His ministers appear to be wishy-washy and completely uncoordinated, and the economy has been severely ravaged, an indictment perhaps of a failed government. Now, if I had a magic lamp, I would caress the lamp tenderly to coax out a genie and ask her for only one wish for my Malaysia. I would wish for a lady to become our next Prime Minister, and maybe also beg the genie to get rid of present, past and all wannabe Prime Ministers. They are all of defective characters, all of them, and not at all anywhere near what a good Prime Minister should be. The reason why Malaysia is in such a relatively sorry state today can directly be attributed to the seriously flawed policies they have been promoting, and of course their own personal conduct and misconduct.
Former PM Dato Sri Najib Razak was arrested at his home in Jalan Langgar Duta at around 3 p.m. today. The arrest was in relation to his involvement with 1MDB-linked SRC International. The MACC confirmed the arrest and Najib was brought to MACC's headquarters. According to a statement by the 1MDB Special Task Force, Najib will also be charged tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. at the KL Courts Complex.
It is a popular perception that our administration is one of the greatest kleptocracies in the world, and we hold the world record for the largest per capita ratio of ministers to population. Many of our ministers and members of parliament appear to be quite selfish and without much honor and integrity. Many condone corruption. And while my genie is making good my wishes, she should also dump all politicians into the Straits of Malacca so that this country can have a complete reset. I must say I'm impressed by the stature of Jacinda Arden, the present Prime Minister of New Zealand. I wonder if we can borrow her for 3 years and we send our Prime Ministers and wannabe Prime Ministers to New Zealand to learn a few things about governance, about honor, about morality and about integrity. I must say I'm also impressed by Angela Merkle, the first female Chancellor of Germany. She is the role model Prime Ministers can learn from. I hear she will not be seeking re-election in Germany. Perhaps we can hire her to be an expatriate Malaysian Prime Minister under contract, while she schools all our wannabe Prime Ministers on what is actually required to be an effective and respected Prime Minister of Malaysia. Or perhaps we should let Nurul Izzah to become our next Prime Minister. I am more impressed by her than either her father or her mother. Join me. Let's vote in a new government that will be led by Nurul Izzah and listen to this, Yeo Bee Yin as the Deputy Prime Minister. Blasphemy? I don't think so. Being saddled with this government of retards, by retards and for retards simply isn't an option. In my humble opinion, women appear to be more honest. They have better integrity, honor and morals than most men. We've never had a lady Prime Minister in Malaysia, but I'm certainly not impressed with all the male Prime Ministers that have been forced upon us. I would support Nurul Izzah as our next Prime Minister and Yeo Yin as Deputy Prime Minister. This combo will send a strong signal to all about our earnestness to rid this country of racism, bigotry and hyper-cronyism. It's also about time we embrace meritocracy. Yang Berhormat Yeo has a Master's in Philosophy and Advanced Chemical Engineering at Corpus Christi College, Cambridge. As for the man, I am impressed with the effort, work and vigour demonstrated by Rafizi Ramli in putting out the government of the super kleptocrat. Syed Saddiq, that young fella from my alma mater, the Royal Military College, appears to have potential of becoming a future Prime Minister too. I hope he hasn't been too contaminated by those kleptocrats of the present and past government. Syed Saddiq should also be roped into Nurul Izzah's government of fresh young faces. What they will need to tackle immediately and urgently are our education policies, our race relations, our economy, COVID pandemic, the push towards meritocracy, and ridding our nation's love affair with corruption. Say aye, all those who agree with me. Let's all vote in a new government of young, untainted people who can reset our country to take our rightful place as one of the best countries in the world to live in. We only need to get rid of the frogs, the clowns, the circus masters, the tainted, the incorrigible have-been politicians who are overstaying their welcome. Join me, everyone. Let's vote Nurul Izzah and Yeo Yin as Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister in the next government.